Well, good morning and welcome to the study of flooring materials. Welcome back to the people that hopefully enjoyed the 9 o'clock webinar on cabinetry. Excuse me. And we're going to now talk about flooring. This is a first-time webinar over the last year and a half, and much needed webinar. And we'll talk about different materials. I am not going to focus solely on the kitchen. We're also going to have discussions, and a lot of this can be incorporated into bathrooms. And you know what? And material anywhere in the house. We're not going to cover carpeting because that doesn't go into a kitchen. That doesn't have. Used to be when I started this business. Talk about dating myself, where we used to have that indoor-outdoor carpeting in the kitchen. But generally today, materials are not going to be in the kitchen in regards to the carpet. So let's get going here. Oh, also, you can ask questions by hitting that button over on the, I don't know what it is where on yours, but you can go and ask questions as we go, and you can email me later or call me even, okay? Okay, in this webinar, we're going to discuss different materials for the floor. I'm going to go through each one, introduce them, and have discussions about them. We're going to talk about pricing. What's the different properties of each one? You know, where's it good? Where's it bad? What should you look for? And then how do you shop? And what do you watch for? We'll even discuss heated flooring. Heated flooring is really nice, especially in cold days like this, to get up in the morning and to have, a nice heated floor. And we can only do it with so many of the materials. We can't do it with, wood, for instance, and things like that. And then answer your questions. Like I said, you can go ahead and shoot one across, or you can, wait and get me privately later. Okay, let's just go through the list of them and then we'll talk about them individually. Stone. I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about stone because guess what? I don't really put it in anymore. There's different materials that have come along to replace stone. Not that it's not beautiful, not that a slate floor is absolutely gorgeous or marble in a bathroom is absolutely stunning. But you know what? Wait till you see what's out there today. Hardwood. We'll spend a lot of time talking about hardwood. Put a lot of it into kitchens. Don't put it into and I won't put it into bathrooms. Powder rooms I would, but not into a master. This is a big one, engineered wood. If anybody can just shoot it on the question comment, how many people out there, just take a second if you can hit it, who's putting what in or what your thoughts are. I know it's premature, but how many wood people do we have are thinking of putting wood somewhere in their project? Because that'll then distinguish how far along I'll go in talking about each one. Ceramic tile, porcelain tile. Put an asterisk by this one, especially if we have any bathroom folks out there. That is a game changer right there. Laminate, vinyl sheet goods, luxury vinyl tile. Put an asterisk by that one. That's another winner. That's, if you guys have been following me with my webinars and my talks and that 25 design tips, that's one of them. And we talk about, I had an earlier one about trends, and you guys can see I have archived all these webinars. So if you need access, you just get in touch with me. But also on the kitchen trends, 2020 and 2021, luxury vinyl tile was one of the trends. Okay, we're going to start out with hardwood. The denser the wood, the more durable. White oak and maple are the common choices today. Now, if you remember what I talked about under cabinetry, white oak and maple are very popular woods for cabinets. I'm a little leery on cabinetry, on the cabinetry when you deal with certain finishes on maple, because maple can tend to be blotchy. Maple's a beautiful wood to put down when you get more into the, let's say, modern type of looks. And another wood on here that I talked about at 9 o'clock with cabinetry that could be thrown in under flooring, and I talked, it's not as popular, but we have hickory also. So hickory could be in there, but white oak is pretty much the common choice today. Hardwood's popular because it works with both contemporary and traditional. There's not a style of kitchen where I can't come and put a nice wood floor down for it. You know, we can get some really, really nice looks with it. And it's notorious for its warmth and resilience. Softer on the feet. It's going to be softer on the feet than you're going to get with your tiles, and then what you're going to get with your porcelain tile also. Price point is medium, and the lifespan is 100+ years with proper refinishing. And there's a beautiful hardwood floor. Now let me explain how hardwood works in my world, okay? The way hardwood works is that I have two choices to pass along to you. We can go to, I'm a big believer, and I usually don't give a bunch of shout-outs, but Marshall One in Mayfield is the only place that with engineered wood and things like that I will work with, as far as even carpet for bedrooms and all that. But the way we can approach this is we can go and have my Amish person, or even my other person, I have two floor guys, come in and put down unfinished wood. And then they can come and we can stain it. And they'll lay down maybe 10 samples of stain and get the exact tint that we want. Talk about custom, okay? That people go with probably about, with hardwood, about 70% of the time. Then we can go and put a pre-finished wood floor down. And pre-finished wood floors, excuse me, we can get, and the advantage to doing that is there's going to be certain finishes, and they're going to be more durable if you have dogs or animals. They can, some of these have even a commercial grade finish on them, so that we can go and do that. So those are the two things to start out with. So let's assume that we're going to go and start out with having the unfinished out. Now, a couple of questions: are we going to match wood that's elsewhere in the house and carry it through to the kitchen, or are we starting from scratch? So let's assume we're starting from scratch. You're going to have different widths. Now, if you get into an older home, let's say we're in Lakewood or Shaker or Cleveland Heights, the older home, the planks are usually around 2 1/4, 2 1/2 inches. So if we want to match that, then we would just match it and carry it through. Today, what you folks are looking for, you're looking for wider planks. Wider planks can be anywhere between 4, oh geez, could go way high, between 4 and 7 inches, 8 inches maybe, even wider. So the advantage to that is it's a much, I think it's really a beautiful look. The disadvantage is that you're going to run into a potential situation with warping and cupping. Like I said at 9 o'clock, I was just on a job this week, a Century Home, and they had, those planks probably had to be up towards, I would think, 8 to 10 inches. And their dishwasher let go, and their whole floor cupped. Now, what cupping means is all of the planks warped. That's the problem you get into when you go and deal with the wider planks. So you have to be careful about where you live and the application that it's going to be going on if you're going to put down a hardwood floor and go with the wider planks. And then after that, after we select, then like I had mentioned, we go stain it and finish it. It probably takes, the process is probably up to a week. If you go with a pre-finished floor, you're not going to have the smells, you're not going to have all that. You're going to have the floor down in 1 to 2 days. and you're not going to have to worry about not walking on it and things like that. So there's pros and cons to each, and you have to decide which direction that you want to go. And hopefully this webinar will guide you through that. Okay, now here's an interesting one. So let's say, John, you know what? I want the wider plank. I live on Lake Erie. You broke my heart. No, I didn't, because now we have what's for you. Okay, engineered wood, made from a combination of solid wood and a sub-ply layer. Option to get pre-finished, we talked about that. Means that there's no smell or non-healthy odors from the finishing process. Engineered wood is ideal for more humid areas, okay? And also if you desire the wider planks. Price point is medium high and the lifespan is unlimited. Look at that. Now all of a sudden, we're going to the wider planks. We can put it on the lake. We never have to worry about it. And this is what engineered wood means. You have a top solid wood layer. So instead of your floor being 3/4 of an inch thick, now all of a sudden your wood is going to be anywhere from 1/4 inch to 3/8. And then you get a ply. So the only negatives I've ever heard about this is going to be, John, again, I want solid wood, okay? And I, in the politest of ways, have to try to convince them that solid wood there really is no difference between that and the engineered. You can still sand this thing several times. You know, the better quality you get, the more solid you have. But the pros to it far outweigh the cons. I mean, I can't think of many cons to this. Dollar-wise, they're going to be close to the same. Now, one thing that I will mention, when you go with a pre-finished floor, there are going to be what I call bevels between every piece, every plank. Some of you may have that out there now. Sometimes people over the years have said, oh, the dust and the crumbs get caught up in the bevels. When you go and do a unfinished floor, you get it like that, where basically there's no bevels or anything. A lot of these engineered floors today they're called micro bevels, so they're very minimal. But that's something that you need to look out for. You know, I'm dotting all the I's for you guys today, but I don't want you to spend thousands of dollars putting a floor down and not knowing that you didn't get like micro bevels or a bevel to it. So that's something to consider. But now with this floor, okay, with this engineered, it would act the same as the unfinished, where my guy would come in and he'd put it down and the finish and the stain, and you know, we get the nice result that we want. So that's engineered wood. So you have solid wood, which is 3/4. You've got to be a little bit concerned if you're going to go wider with the planks, or you go with the engineered and then you don't have any issues, and you get a great floor. Okay, so that's basically the hardwood. Tile, highly sought after for its durability and low maintenance qualities. Been used for centuries. Nice feature of tile allows us to be creative in the design process and introduce decorative patterns into the design. You know, maybe I'm going to have a webinar, I'm sure I will in the future, on backsplashes. And this tile would especially come into play in our backsplash, and where we can do patterns and be really creative. Porcelain tile, which we're going to talk about next, and that tile can resemble natural stone at a fraction of the price. That's where I talked about where I don't do much with, you know, with the stone, the real stone today, because porcelain takes its place. And bear with me, because I'm going to get really excited when we talk about porcelain. Okay, tile price point is medium, and the lifetime is virtually unlimited. Let me throw some numbers at you with tile. Okay, so when you go out and start looking at tile, because you don't know what your square footage is, same thing with a backsplash and things like that, but you're always going to see per square foot prices. When you look at tile, okay, and tile starts, a halfway decent tile starts anywhere from $3 a square foot on up. You'll get some really good tiles, and $3 a square foot is very economical. You will get good tile starting at $3 a square foot and when you start getting, when you hear this square footage price, then you know you're going to spend some money. When you get up over $15 to $20 a square foot, you know on your project you're going to be spending some money. Porcelain tile, great porcelain tile usually runs $3 to $7 a square foot. That's what's another exciting point to it. The other thing, which is a huge advantage of tile over your natural stones, forget the sealing of the stone and all that, because we know we're going to deal with that when we get to it. But also is that you don't have the labor cost. They charge much more money to lay natural stone than they do, the tiles. They're much easier to lay. Rectified, okay, huge term. Okay, write this down, especially if we have anybody out there doing a bathroom, especially in a bathroom. Tile, and it's both porcelain and regular tile. Tile is, when it's cut, there's 3 ways it's cut. It's either hand cut. If it's hand cut, then you're going to start getting more of a rustic pattern to it. Okay, like you have to have wider grout joints because there's some not imperfections, but there's some waviness and things like that when you hand cut a tile. Then there's machine cut, where they actually go boom and they stamp it. And when they stamp a tile, you still with the tile get a little bit of a pitch on the edges. Rectified means they take a laser and cut the tile. Now, why does this matter in our conversation today? I can tell you why it's going to matter, because when I start working with you folks, you're going to tell me, John, I hate grout lines. If you hate grout lines, then you want to look for a rectified tile, because what does that mean? That means you could go with absolutely a minimal amount of grout line. So that's the advantage of rectified tile. Then also, when you get into a bathroom, you can do the mildew-proof grout. And mildew-proof grouting in a bathroom, you don't have to worry about, in the shower and things like that with the growth of mildew and mold. And it has the mildew-proof agents. That is more expensive, and it's more expensive to lay, but that's something you definitely want to tell your person. If that's something you're interested in the bathroom. In the kitchen, I don't know if you really need it. You don't need it. But in a bathroom where you have the moisture, definitely I would consider that. Okay. So there's a beautiful tile floor. A ceramic tile can be laid. Also, when you look at this is the most popular pattern today. You look at that pattern, it's a 12 by 24. You're going to see a lot of tiles that are going to be 12 by 24 today. The other thing too with tile, both with porcelain and with the ceramic, is that you get to have the opportunity to, even in smaller spaces, I like to use larger tiles in smaller spaces. You can always go in and see when a kitchen was done or a bathroom was done basically on the size of the tiles. Like in a kitchen, 12 by 12 was really, really popular back in the 80s and early 90s. And then they started going to the 18 by 18s. Now all of a sudden we're going into the 12 by 24s, or we're going into the 24 by 24s. And you'll see examples of that coming up. A couple of other things with the tile today that you're going to notice. When you go in and you look at that joint, that's called a staggered, basically it's a staggered joint there, offset joint. And you can do, when you're looking at that, you have the choice to have them in halves that you see there, like it splits the half. You have the choice to go into thirds. Or you could do what's referred to as a stacked joint, which is very important also in the bathrooms and things like that. A stacked joint is a much more modern joint. I would do that more in a modern type of space. But what that means is that your grout lines all line up. Okay, and as you start getting into house and magazines and that, start looking at this. So this is stuff to start looking at and understanding. This is also, by the way, where people, not very many times do I ever hear this, but I may get it once every 6 months or so. Well, John, I know my design. I know my cabinet color. Why do I need you? It's all these little details like understanding grout, all it's this all the, all these little details that make these kitchens, that you would not know as they do it yourself or. Okay, porcelain tile. Okay, let's have some fun. Okay, so porcelain tile now. Remember I told you earlier that I would not do wood in a bathroom. I did a bathroom for a lady, a widower. She lived in uh, right behind the Beechwood Mall there, one of those condos. And she wanted me to do her master, and she wanted wood in the bathroom. And I told her, I said, I won't do it. I said, you're going to have issues, you're going to have cupping, blah blah blah. And she accepted the fact. So we went to a tile store, and she's looking, and I'm go and grab. I left her for a second. I went and I grabbed a piece of porcelain wood tile. And she looked at me and she said, John, wait a minute. Why would you even show me that? You told me I can't have it. I said, no, no, no. This is tile. This is not wood. So within a foot and a half, she thought that I was presenting to her wood. That's what porcelain tile is. Same thing when we talked about I'm not doing much with stone anymore. Okay, we'll come back. Let me see. I thought I had a picture of a marble. They have the marble look with the porcelain, and that marble look, you don't have to seal it. You could do the rectified with the close joints, and you swear you have a marble bathroom and you don't have any of the issues. Now, one of the things that you have to deal with this, you have to have a good tile person if you're going to do the wood with this, because this ceramic, or I mean the porcelain, that gets up to 4 foot in their planks. The negative to that is when you're laying tile, the reason a tile man likes smaller tiles is because it's more forgiving if the floor is not 100% level. This is much harder to lay because when you have 4 foot lengths, that floor's got to be very, very perfect. It's very much harder to lay when you have longer planks. And there's the application in a bathroom. So you can see you have a bathroom, you have a gorgeous wood look. The other advantage to tile and to porcelain is that we can go and we can put a floor mat underneath and heat it. Do a lot of this. So we can go and we can have a beautiful bathroom remodeled, beautiful kitchen remodeled, get up at 5:30 or 4:30 or 7:30 and have it on a timer, and your floor is all warm for you. People love it. And if you've ever been on one of those, you really, really are going to seriously think about getting one. Usually they're run by electric, and you can also zone them. You don't have to have the whole floor done. You can have it maybe where the sinks are, or in a kitchen where the table is, or the sink, or the cooktop, or whatever. So it can be in different areas. Laminate, not as popular today because of the vinyls and that, but laminate flooring basically is a hard surface consisting of a fiberboard core and a melamine wear layer. Laminate means exactly what it is. They laminate a photocopy on a substrate, and then they laminate on top of it. So that's where you can get different looks and things like that. Surfaces are very durable, but they cannot be refinished. Generally less than hardwood and engineered wood because they do not require a significant subfloor prep. Price point is low and the lifespan is 10 to 20 years. There's a laminate looking floor there. I'm going to date myself, but when I was working for somebody years and years ago, remember, I'm going to date myself by saying a Xerox machine, but they used to have, like the companies, remember we used to have these big Xerox machines, and I'll never forget, they put a laminate floor down in our showroom, and then they dragged this big Xerox machine across it to the back where the office was. And then for years to come, you could see these little scratches on the laminate floor. It's not like wood where I could have called the guy, hey, can you touch up these scratches? Once they're there, you're screwed. So that's the advantage, a huge advantage of the wood, over the laminates and things. Stone. Natural stone is beautiful, extremely durable. Hard stones are recommended, such as granite, slate, and limestone, due to the fact that they will not absorb dust as easily as others. Limestone seems to be the people's choice, okay, in a kitchen, not as much in a bathroom. Okay, like I said, the price falls on the higher side, lifespan is virtually unlimited. And I also said earlier, I can't remember the last time I put a stone floor or a stone in a bathroom. But there's a stone floor right there, gorgeous, you know. Now, if I didn't know I didn't do that kitchen years ago, I wouldn't be able to look at this picture and tell you if that was porcelain or if that was, you know, stone. Sheet good vinyl tile. Now, one of the things with tile, I mean, the vinyl tiles, but with the sheet good, the vinyls have always been there. I remember going into Marshall Flooring and having a whole wall, front to back. If anybody ever went in there on Mayfield Road, let me see if I can name the manufacturers. There was Armstrong. There was Mannington. There was Congolium. Let me see if I can think of any other. Those are the ones that come to mind. But the whole wall full of them and all the sheet goods. And I went out and people wanted them and we put them in, and all of a sudden we said, you know what? Do you have asphalt driveways? Do you have this? Do you have that? You know, and all these things came into play. They've come a long way with vinyls, but the thing that's replaced it, what's coming up next? I really don't do much with the sheet good today because there's so many other options out there, but it's excellent for durability, minimal seams. That's nice. You'll have minimal seams, reduces the noise, easier to install. Here's one of the negatives, can tend to fade with direct sunlight. Okay, and it's comfortable on the feet. Okay, and there's a nice, we all know it. I mean, it's nice. It's what I refer to the industry as Old Faithful. This in the freestanding range. There's your Old Faithful look. Okay, here is a huge, huge one. Now, one of the hottest floors on the market today. People, when you know, up until about 4 or 5 years ago, I was nervous to even mention the word vinyl. People would say right away, wait, we went to this beautiful kitchen, why are you throwing that word vinyl at me? And now all of a sudden they come up, this vinyl, luxury vinyl tile is like the porcelain of the tiles. It's one of the hottest floors on the market today. Excellent for durability. Reflects authentic wood or tile look. Can be layered over existing tile floors in most cases. That's the winner. This, you know, I get into a lot of these homes, okay, and you guys have tile all over your first floor, which would be thousands of dollars to tear it up and then thousands to re-prep and things like that. Now all of a sudden, with the luxury vinyl tile, in most cases, we can go right over it, which is huge. So that's something also to think about with this. There's a luxury vinyl tile right there. Okay, beautiful look. Now, the only time that I would be nervous about this luxury vinyl tile is if you have hardwood that it's butting up to, because it looks really great, but up against the authentic wood, you're going to get a conflict of the visual. So I would tend to carry the hardwood all the way through if you're going to be doing that. But when I look at this floor, I look at the beauty, but you know what else I see? I see walking in that front door with the dogs and running around. And oh, another thing, by the way, with this, it's much more durable than wood would ever be with animals. Another thing that I see walking through is the wet feet, you know, and you know, you don't have the issues that you would have with the hardwood. So very, very, very durable in that regard. The other thing too with this luxury vinyl tile, we can go in and we can have it look like real tile, and it can even be grouted. So you're thinking that now all of a sudden you have porcelain tile or you have ceramic tile. Now all of a sudden you've got vinyl and it goes in there and it looks, and you grout, it looks like real tile. I had a situation recently where I dealt with a very elderly lady in her late 80s and did her kitchen right by Shaker Square. And she had that tile all over upstairs and she was on a limited budget. And we went and put this vinyl tiles in. I got to tell you, it's one of the nicer floors I put in last year. I mean, really, really nice looking. So you can have a lot of interesting and a lot of fun with this stuff. And again, if you guys are Clevelanders or that, I would say venture to Marshall One and talk to Ryan, the owners, one of the owners there. Bamboo. I don't do a lot of it. There used to be a call. We talked at 9 o'clock for bamboo cabinetry. Just don't get that call much anymore. But with bamboo, it's an environmentally friendly and renewable because it just regenerates. Stunning and unique look. Available in many different shades. Not too pricey. Durable. And I'm going to talk about those in a minute. Affordable. Easy to install. Can be put in any area of the house. I mean, look at that look. Now, you would not put this in when you have hardwood. Bamboo, if you want more of an open area feel, more of a modern type of feel, bamboo you could consider. Here's the thing with flooring. If you're gonna put bamboo and like the look of bamboo, you wanna be very careful and make sure you get a very good quality. Because what happens is the longer it ages, the more expensive it is. And why do you care? Okay, all of a sudden, when we get through all this crap and you start having people in your homes again and you have let's say you have a Christmas party, somebody is wearing high heels, okay, and they come in and after the party, you guys are cleaning up and you notice there's dents all through your first floor. That's why you care, because it can be very soft. And that's why when you put in these floors, you really, really want to do your homework. Same thing with the dark floors. The dark woods, that cocoa color and all that. It's going to show every scratch. It's going to show every, piece of dust. You just really want to be aware and have a timeless piece that you're going to be putting in there. But that's what bamboo does. Another floor that I put down once or twice over the last 10 to 20 years, talk about a gorgeous floor, but I cringed when I put it in. The client really wanted it, was cork. And, the same type of application. You got to be very careful, with these floors because you're going to want them to last forever, Okay, so that takes us to the end of this one. If there's no questions, thank you for joining. A couple of things is I offer a design guide. If anybody is interested in one, I can get one out to you. It's a whole booklet. If you followed me, you know about it. People absolutely love it. It's a whole book dedicated to everything that can go into a kitchen. Anybody needs help with design work or talk to me about a project or any questions, one thing that you're going to enjoy about the webinars and people that have taken them, I don't solicit. This is not for sales. But if you're ever interested in talking to me and need some guidance and some help, here's the information on that. You can follow my archived webinars and upcoming every 2 weeks right now. In 2 weeks, we have another series coming up. I think we're going to start getting into the bathroom a little bit. So we've got about 8 more webinars coming up, and they're all free for you guys this spring, just to really educate you and help you guys out there. So if there's no questions, I'm going to sign off, and thank you for joining today. Hopefully we'll see you in a couple weeks. And again, get in touch with me if there's anything I can guide you through or help you with. Thanks. Bye-bye.